My notes say least favorite Muppet, which is impossible because all Muppets are.
No,
my
it's
favorite
not.
Muppet.
It's not impossible.
In unison here.
Yep.
Miss
Miss Piggy.
She's the worst.
She was
She's
annoying.
an unredeemable.
She's not irredeemable. She literally kicks
She
people.
leaves him twice for the call of
She does.
her whatever.
Yeah, she's
Like, and just is like, oh,
she's
bye.
fickle, but she kicked ass. Literally, she's.
She did.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Like,
that was-
It's the big room again. We're back, and we watched another Orson Welles movie. Kinda. He's in it.
He is.
He's in it.
Yeah.
He's
That was
in
kind
it.
of shocking to
Steve
see, to
Martin's
be
in
honest.
it.
Yeah.
We watched the Muppet movie, the 1979 The Muppet Movie, not the other one. There's a movie called.
There's a lot.
Well, yeah, there's like 9.
There's
but
Muppets in space.
There's one called The Muppets. That was in
Oh.
2011. We didn't watch that one.
We
We
didn't
watched
watch that one.
The Muppet Movie,
The Muppet Movie.
and we learned a lot. But first, I want to talk about the weird bread that Nick left in my house.
I meant to text you about
Who
that.
buys Pepperidge Farm bread? 1. 2. Why is it so thick?
He can't
Dude.
control the thickness of the bread.
It's so thick.
You're right, but I love it.
And
It's the best bread. I exclusively buy it.
3, you seal your bread like a monster.
Oh,
So
you
Nick does the twist and tuck, right? Which is
Oh
Yeah,
god.
yeah.
the enemy.
I might be. I might do that too.
It's the enemy of wives everywhere. However, Nick
I
adds
don't have a wife.
a fun twist where he tries to see if he can get the most amount of air in the bag before he twists it up. Because I picked it
Gotta
up
give him some air
today.
to breathe.
I picked it up today and it was like a balloon. And it's been sitting there for like 5 days. And it still had so much air in it. So I'm like, this is probably
So
stale.
you take it, you grab it, and then you just spin it.
Yeah, but you squeeze
bread
you,
and
You gotta
you
squeeze
squeeze
the
the
air
air
out
out first.
No.
Well, that's how you keep it fresh. Yeah.
Oh, that
yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, it's why you
Like,
fold it in the
air
first place.
makes it, yeah.
That's why we're not just leaving bread everywhere.
If I cared about that, though, I'd take the time to get the air out and put the bread pin
like
thing
I don't,
back on
I don't
it.
think that the spin and tuck is a bad method. I think it's
I was gonna say,
chaos.
do you put the little plastic piece back on every time?
We buy twisty tie
The
bread.
bread tie?
We do.
No,
Yeah,
god.
we buy bread tie bread exclusively.
You
And
don't retie your
It's
bread.
like a
you
grenade
just-
pen. You pull that out and it's done.
What?
no, I reuse it. I reuse it.
Maybe
Yeah,
I use it as a
I've
cat
never
toy. I'll
used it.
throw it to Cleo and she'll chase it sometimes. but it's
for the Clio.
Bro, I was so sad when I got home because I had bought bread and some like good boar's head meat, turkey
that
and
is
ham
good
and some
meat.
cheese. And I took everything back home with me except for the bread, and I got home to make a sandwich like the next day. And I was like,
Aw.
I
Forgot
have
the
no
bread.
bread. That's at Cameron's.
Forgot your
I was really
air-filled
bummed.
bread.
But Pepperidge Farm is my go-to.
I buy
Every
Nature
time.
Valley and I buy whole grain.
That time I got the like sweet Hawaiian bread
Yeah.
or whatever.
ooh.
But my go-to is sourdough.
It was not sweet Hawaiian
Ooh.
enough.
Sourdough's pretty
I don't
versatile.
think.
Why thick cut
What's
for
Hawaiian
sandwiches?
sauce? I don't know.
I don't like that thick cut. It was sticking to my mouth.
No, that's
It's a lot of
that's-
bread.
That's the good part.
What?
It's about ratio. You got thick bread, so you need a lot of meat, a lot of cheese.
Ooh, he's
I don't
balance
like
it
a,
out.
I don't like a heavily stacked sandwich.
no. It's like 2 to 3 slices of meat, a slice of cheese, lettuce, bread.
Yeah.
I
No
also
tomato?
A lot of mayonnaise.
No
I
tomato.
don't buy tomato because
So-
he doesn't like them. So
I
they,
don't like
they always go
tomatoes.
bad.
I found
It's like a
a new
wasteful.
concoction in Publix. It's something that I normally make myself.
Oh
Okay.
I
God.
saw it and I bought it.
Is it a
It's-
sweet pickle?
It's pickled
Yeah, is it
pig's
just a
feet.
regular pickle and
No,
sugar?
no. Pickles don't go on sandwiches.
He discovered
What?
sweet pickles for the first time. They
I
make
bought-
these.
Dude, pickles for sure go on sandwiches.
Wait,
what are
wait.
you talking about?
No,
Wait.
no.
Wait, what did you say?
I found in Publix a mayo racha. So it's just sriracha
Oh, yeah,
and
of
mayonnaise
course.
mixed together.
Yeah.
And it was very good. I've
That's
been like
something-
manually mixing it, which is a pain.
That's something I want to
saw that, I was
control
like,
the
this changed my
ratio
life.
of, though. Right?
Yeah.
It's true. It wasn't spicy enough for me.
Yeah, see, that's the problem.
Sriracha's hard to find,
I
at least
just made
here.
some spicy mayo on Monday.
The correct sriracha, like the chicken one, that's really hard to find.
Yeah.
We have some BS. What did you buy this time? You didn't. You
well,
bought Texas Pete the first time, and that was disgusting.
That's what I used on.
What you shouldn't buy is Hellman's. Hellman's sriracha is awful.
Yeah, why would you buy sriracha from like the whitest
Mayonnaise
brand?
company.
I'm just saying.
It's cheaper.
You know what? That's probably what was in my mayo racha though,
Yeah,
because it was Hellman's brand.
yeah.
Never mind. I take it back. I just spoke good of it.
Well, that's fine.
Let us know how you make your sandwiches at
We should actually get it. We should,
at gmail.com.
we should not have people email that because it's the business email. And can you imagine one day we need a
No one checks
document
that.
or something, and there's like
It's
a
just
million
full of
questions.
sandwich.
Man,
But
yeah, the big
Sandwich
room.
tips.
My
But-
favorite sriracha is
What if we?
I like
but
Kraft mayo.
I want to hear
Oh.
the opinions.
Miracle Whip. and
Let
we
us
just-
know in the comments
We
below,
block those people.
please.
Never.
Miracle Whip's awful. So we were at a wedding.
We were at a wedding. Not just any wedding. My sister's wedding.
Who cares?
Aw.
You were in it.
Aw.
I was not in it, and that's important to my tale. So day of the wedding, y'all got up at 3:15 in the morning.
7
It was insane.
wasn't that bad. I've done
The wedding
worse.
was when?
4.
Yeah, that's what
Oh, wow.
17 hours
Listen,
of prep.
you need 45 minutes for each girl's hair. There were 7 girls. You got to do the math.
7 times 45 is 364. Somebody help me out with that.
It doesn't,
Let us know in the chat.
yeah.
Sounds right.
The chat. Our Twitch. No. So you were in the wedding. One of our friends was also in the wedding, and her fiance, who's also our friend,
It was a cool cat.
Caleb, the cool cat.
Cool cat Caleb.
Caleb is a cool cat.
He's a cool cat. So him and I were like, we're not in this wedding, but our stinking broads got us up so early.
You're welcome.
So we just went and found a bar and sat in there all day.
As you
So
do.
we went there at 11:30, and we got our stools, and we were there for a million years. Now, 2 things happened that were of note and were monumental in our afternoon / day. So the first thing is what happened to be on ESPN at the bar, and that was the Ocho. The Ocho is a yearly event that ESPN does where it's all the weirdest sports that aren't sports
Fake
but are
sports?
sports for the Ocho, right? So when we got there, we were watching for about an hour professional rock skipping. Real thing.
wow.
We were absolutely enamored with it, but not
Did
as
they pick a
enamored.
natural body of water for that? Or
Yeah,
they just have
neutral
like
body of water. They had a rock that you had to put your right foot, like the outside of your right foot against, like this. And
Okay.
everybody had to do that. And then you threw. And then there was also like,
Wait, what's the significance of the rock?
I don't know.
Putting your foot up on it?
Yeah, so that everybody throws from
common
the same
ground?
place. It's on the ground.
Okay.
Yeah, like a marking stone.
Gotcha.
And it was a neutral body of water, and they took turns, and it was hilarious. It was like your uncle. Everybody looked like your uncle. Like it was the best. So we watched
Yeah.
it for a long time. The next event, though, was even better, and it took us a little bit to understand what actually was happening. So it appeared to be like model car drag racing. So it was like a drag strip made of like
That's
wood or
dope.
whatever, and it had a divider.
like in the Boy Scouts?
Yeah, right. But not like on a slope. It was a flat
Like
thing.
on that one Full House episode.
I don't care.
Whatever happened to predictability?
I always found that show
Man, the paper boy.
I don't know the next line. Exactly.
Evening.
Everywhere you look and
Everywhere.
TV.
Hey, demonetized.
Oh, no.
You can't do that.
Sure can.
Anyway, no,
Got it.
not when we're making money. Never. We'll never get there. But imagine. No.
Well,
So we're watching this drag racing, and after a minute, the cars in quotes were all decorated, and they had like bald eagles and whatever on them. And then we realized what they actually were after 5 minutes or so, and they were belt sanders. They were drag racing belt sanders. So they would just like 3, 2, 1, and the sander would just take off down the line,
God.
and they would stop when they unplugged themselves.
I think
It was actually unbelievable.
Carl needs you to explain what a belt sander is.
I think Nick needs
Not
to.
me.
So you
Not
know,
me.
like there's palm.
I'm just looking out for Carl.
There's palm sanders, and they just vibrate. Then there's disc sanders, and they got discs on them, and they spin in a circle. And then there's sanders that have sandpaper in a belt that go around a thing, and then they take a lot of material away, and they're used more for flattening
little
things out. I
handheld
think.
thing.
Yeah, thanks for
Well, it's
clarifying.
a bigger thing. Like belt sanders
I
are
got you, Carl.
substantial. But yeah. And they would hit the ground and take off, and it was very funny. So belt sander drag racing, that's what we did while you are getting your hair done for 30,000 years.
Amazing.
It was riveting.
You call it the Ocho?
the Ocho.
Why? What is
Ocho.
that?
I don't ask
What?
me that. I don't.
Just
I don't
Spanish
know.
8, or is there?
Yes, Spanish 8.
Okay.
I don't know if there's 8 events. Like
That's
I
the network
genuinely
they were
don't know.
on Dodgeball, right?
Maybe.
ESPN The Ocho. I remember that from Dodgeball.
Oh,
There's no
then,
other
yeah,
reason
there's
I would
probably
know
there's
that.
probably definitely
dodge a wrench,
dodgeball
you can dodge a
on the
ball.
Ocho. I mean,
Good movie.
if they had a like cornhole, I think is on the Ocho. Like it's all weird stuff like that. Cornhole's
is that?
also like on Fox Sports though. Like
Like the big bar tabletop Jenga.
yeah.
It's like planks of 2x4s.
What's like
Those are terrifying.
what's the log? The log you run.
Yeah,
on
there's
a
no
log,
louder
that-
sound than when all those pieces fall.
I was in a bar with those in Jacksonville a couple weekends ago, and it was like 10 p.m. and it was a really sleepy, quiet bar. And me and my friend were like, we could really ruin everyone's time by playing this right now.
Giant Jenga.
We have unlimited power by 2x4 Jenga. Like normal Jenga was enough. We needed to
Yeah.
make it dangerous for
Yeah, it
walking
was-
by
Hurt your
toddlers and
toes.
loud.
Does it work when you scale the physics up? I don't really know if it does the same way.
Where's the limit? Can we do it with like excavators and buses?
Well, you can't stack an
Seriously.
excavator.
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
What?
the excavator's the hands.
Oh,
Oh my god. You can't stack an excavator. The arms get in the way. It doesn't make any sense.
wow, I look really dumb right
You
now.
went to college.
I did go to college.
Oh boy.
But you,
Money well spent.
you can't, so I'm right. So
that's fair. That's fair.
I
Stop booing me. I'm
claim a
right.
moral victory.
Moral.
Yeah.
Your morals are tied to excavation. Should we talk about a movie?
Yeah.
Let's talk about a movie. We watched The Muppets. This is on the list because my dad liked The Muppets, and I'd never seen this one. I think we watched Muppets Take Manhattan or New York or whatever that one is. Muppets in Manhattan, whatever the New
Gotta
York
be
one is.
Manhattan. Got that alliteration.
Whatever the New York
Bruh.
one was, that's the one we watched when I was a kid. So, and I don't remember like anything about it. But
Moving right along.
yeah, I don't know. So you probably didn't have it. I don't think you had any Muppets.
No, I
Anything.
mean I knew what they like were because pop culture. You just
Did you even have Sesame Street as a kid?
I didn't really like Sesame Street.
You're
no.
just like Princess.
I liked Little Bear and
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Franklin.
Yeah.
Of course, but I just don't
Yes.
get how
Nick
you
Jr..
how you watch Nick Jr. stuff but miss
I
whiff Sesame Street.
was too rich for public access television back in the
Wow.
Not for viewers like you.
Wow.
No.
Thank you. Yeah, Jim Henson. I did not know he did Sesame Street before the Muppet Show.
Oh, I didn't.
That was
Oh.
interesting to me. So there's your first fun fact of the day. So anybody else have Muppets as a kid? Nick probably not because he grew up in a cult.
In a that's a whole other episode. I'm pretty
That
similar
will
to
never do. That's a whole
I'm
other
pretty
podcast.
similar to yeah. There you go. I'm similar to Danielle though. I never have seen the Muppets. I know of them, and
Yeah.
Little Bear ruled.
Yeah.
Little Bear was obviously awesome, but
Little
Carl,
Bear was amazing.
yeah, did you have Muppets exposure as a kid?
Not really. Like I kind of thought it was like a 90s thing. So going back and like seeing the Muppet shows all the way through like the 70s, I was like, oh, okay, this is a lot more lore than I realized.
Yeah, they ended in
So-
the 90s.
But yeah, I didn't really grow up on it. I knew of it, like Danielle was saying, but yeah, I didn't really consume it.
I was more of a Sesame Street kid because again, like the Muppets was when my dad was a kid. So, I guess our Muppets stuff exposure was just the when we watched a Muppet movie or whatever as kids. So, But I had a lot of Sesame Street exposure. I didn't know they were the same guy.
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah, I
either.
thought they were competing brands.
I
Like-
thought so too. I didn't know that like I obviously knew Jim Henson created that style, but I thought maybe Sesame Street was a ripoff.
Yeah, like when
Honestly-
Big Bird was walking down the street, I was like, "Why is Big Bird here? Like,
Yeah.
this isn't the
Yeah,
same
and
universe."
at that point I
that
knew
was like a Sony Marvel thing. I was like, how
Yeah,
did they get this
like, wait
to
a
work
minute.
out?
Yeah.
Like,
Wait a minute.
good for them.
At that point I knew and I had to tell you, I'm like, no, Henson did
Yeah.
Sesame Street, he did the Muppets, he did Fraggle Rock. This is our second Jim Henson movie.
The first one
I don't
was
want to talk
terrible.
about the first.
Labyrinth was
come on
also
now.
Henson
Dance,
involved.
magic, dance.
Jump, magic jump.
Movie was
I looked up the
trash.
dates. I thought for sure that Labyrinth would have come before this,
No,
but no, he really went out with Labyrinth. Not
Really?
went out,
he didn't go out with Labyrinth.
but no, yeah, no. I'm just saying it was late in his career, and that is surprising because that
Interesting.
movie was so different.
It's so.
This movie starts with one of the greatest songs of all time. So
Yeah.
that's great. I did not know that Rainbow Connection would be in this movie. I had known Rainbow Connection from the Willie Nelson version, which is a cover. It was an original for this movie, and it got nominated and ripped off of an Oscar in 1980 for Best Original Song, I think, and lost. And nobody knows what the song that one was because it wasn't as culturally significant as Rainbow Connection would have been. So
Did Jim Henson write all the music too, or
Jim
did he have
Henson
help
did
with that?
not write this song. He had
Okay.
help to write it. I watched an interview and don't remember the guy's name with the guy that wrote it. He did say that he wrote it for Kermit's speech pattern. So that's why it's very da 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 da
Yeah.
da 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 da. It's very choppy.
Yeah.
On purpose because that's how Kermit talks. Henson did sing it. And for the swamp scenes, he spent a full 8-hour day underwater in a big 50-gallon
Wow.
tank or 50-foot tank in a sound stage underwater doing this.
No, for real?
Yeah, I spent a full day.
He was
he would've
actually
had to have been.
underwater?
Not underwater, in the water. So he's like
Okay, I was
behind
like, wait a minute, what?
behind the log and stuff, but he's still in water.
Yeah.
all
Just
day.
breathing through a tube all day for
Just-
8 hours.
Being Kermit, him and
Wow.
probably one other guy, because I think there's 2 people operate Kermit for that, because there's the foot tapping,
Yeah.
the mouth,
And the
and then both hands. So there's 2 people being Kermit. So somebody else had to have been in the water with him all day, like really close to him because
That's a
Kermit's small.
long day.
Man, Muppet stuff is.
Sheesh.
If you want to learn,
Yeah, you don't even really notice it because it's pretty well seamless. Like
Yeah.
with the movie, you don't really.
if
It's
you
not
want to learn
distracting.
some stuff
No.
about how Muppets work, there are good videos on the Tested YouTube channel with Adam Savage on him building Muppets and talking to the people that work for Jim Henson's company now. And it's very interesting to see how the puppeteering works. And
Yeah.
it's very.
The difference between Muppets and puppets, what is it? Like, what's the clear
I
distinction?
think it's just the style, literally, like the
Okay.
visual style. I would say,
Gotcha.
the foam construction felt covered
So
in the faces.
Is
and stuff.
Muppet not like just the brand of movie? Is it like an actual thing?
I think the Muppet is
I thought it
the
was just
brand
a
of puppet.
Play on words.
It is.
I didn't realize it was like a
What-
brand.
yeah,
though.
what's
I
the
thought it
M
was just
stemming
like,
from?
oh, this group of characters, they're called the Muppets. Not like a Muppet is an actual physical like type of puppet.
Yeah, there's no
I'm sure it's
Muppets
his
outside
spin
of
on
these
it.
movies.
Right.
Oh, there is. Okay.
No, there's not.
Oh, okay.
Let me see.
Yeah, I figured it was
I don't
just his style, but I didn't know where the M. If that was
He's
drawn from
certainly-
like some other word. If it was like a
fun to say.
combination.
It just
Certainly has
says
his own style.
Henson joined in 1969. Henson joined the children's educational television program Sesame Street, where he helped to develop Muppet characters for the series. So the Muppet characters predate the Muppets,
Right.
but maybe they take their name retrospectively from the Muppets. I don't know,
Maybe, yeah.
but that is
Are
what the
Muppets
puppets.
on Sesame Street?
Yes, Muppets are on Sesame Street, but it is not the Muppet Show,
Right.
which is the show, and then Muppets Take New York and stuff. The Muppets are what the puppets are called.
Maybe a puppet is when it's a string, and then a Muppet is like when it's man.
I think puppets are just when
Or-
Jim Henson doesn't make them. Like it's kind of this
Probably.
guy's thing.
Yeah.
So, or when they're in that style. So, lots of Jim Henson. He got obviously a larger budget for this movie than he had for the Muppet Show episodes, so he wanted to kind of do some more advanced stuff with the Muppets. I have two examples. One was Kermit on the bike, which I genuinely don't know how they did that.
Nope.
And I would like to look it up. How do they do it?
It was with a crane and some string.
No kidding.
Oh.
Crane?
Pulling him across.
Like probably a cherry picker or something like up top. That's
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
awesome.
I don't know exactly what kind, but yeah.
A massive construction site crane just for this little tiny Muppet.
Yeah. That's
tiny
Pretty much.
that's brilliant. So that was
And if
like
you
one of the.
if you look at it, you can tell that
there's
like it looks like it's moving, but it is kind of, I don't know, jumpy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So there was that one, and then the other hilarious thing. So in the end of the movie, with the like sheriff town standoff, like the old western part, where an animal eats the grow quick pills or whatever.
Yeah.
That was not a miniature. They built a 50-foot animal head in the soundstage
what?
and operated
Why?
it because Jim
amazing.
Henson refused to do a miniature set because he's a
That's-
madman.
No one's gonna believe it. We have to make it to scale.
That was my first thought. I'm like, this is a really convincing, like miniature. Like
Wow.
the
they
editing
had
was
the
really
movement
great.
slowed down really. Yeah, they slowed it down, but it wasn't choppy. Yeah.
Oh, they just built a giant animal
Just a
head.
50-foot animal. I wonder
What
if
do they
that still
do with
exists.
that?
It's
It's just in his backyard.
I don't know. It's
It's in a
well,
warehouse
he's dead,
somewhere.
It
probably.
would take up a full
no,
museum
Jim Henson
room.
died in 1990 and worked himself to death. So
Aww.
That's the way to do it.
he got an illness.
That's the way
and
to do it.
he got an illness.
Find what you love and let it kill you.
I don't remember what the illness was, but he like refused medical attention and just kept working and then died.
It's probably cancer. It's
Ooh.
always cancer.
Can you imagine living in Jim Henson's neighborhood and there's just a giant animal head
Just hanging out.
coming out of his backyard?
Like yeah,
That's wild.
so Rainbow Connection. Have y'all looked at the lyrics to that
Not
song?
in depth.
Very briefly.
Yo, they're insane. I can't tell if they give me hope or make me want to jump off a building. They're very good.
Yeah, it's kind of melancholy.
Especially it is melancholy. I want to read the second verse, and I'm not gonna sing it because that'd be
Do it.
cringy.
Do
No.
Good for the burn.
Why not? Come
So the second verse is
All your dream.
the second verse is who said that every wish would be heard and answered when wished on the morning star. Somebody thought of that, and someone believed it. Look what it's done so far. I'm gonna kill myself.
Wow, man.
I did.
But what's so amazing
Kinda
that
bleak.
keeps us stargazing, and what do we think we might see? I'm like, oh my god, this is not a children's
Existential
song.
crisis.
Yeah, it's so good
In
though.
the guise of a children's movie.
It's
Wow.
I mean the whole song is like that. It's lyrically magnificent.
Yeah.
And as soon as it started, as soon as like we pulled into the swamp, I was like, oh my god, I can't wait to hear Rainbow Connection.
Yeah.
I just wish every
Get that
song,
title sequence with the rainbow in the background. You're like, I know where we're going.
Dude, it's
Had you-
so good.
Had you guys heard of any of these songs? Like, did you recognize any of them going
No.
into it?
I
'Cause
knew
they
Ra-
were all
I knew Rainbow Connection.
brand new for me.
Yeah, just Rainbow Connection.
And America the Beautiful.
What?
This is the patriotic part.
Never heard of this song.
So, what did y'all think of like just the plot in general? I know it wasn't deep because it's a kids movie. Well, it wasn't complex.
Yeah.
I liked it. I feel like I always relate the Muppets to like Hollywood and LA, and like I feel like they're always road tripping somewhere.
Yeah.
They're always going to Manhattan, going somewhere.
Well,
That's true. Yeah.
Big
There's
Bird's
Muppets
going-
in space. Muppets going to. There's the Christmas Carol one.
and then Big
Yeah,
Bird
I
was
feel like they're
going
always
to.
going. They're always going.
Big Bird was going to
Yeah.
New York in the movie because that's where Sesame Street is. Sesame Street's in New York. So it was a little inside joke ish. The running gag thing is like when Kermit goes, "Oh, her running gag." They're
Yeah,
like
the
that
Hare
happens like
Krishna or whatever.
yeah, that kind of running gag, like Kermit referencing a running gag bit, happens in a couple Muppet things I've seen. It's like that in and of itself.
Yeah, it
is
was a lot
running
more
gag.
self-referential and meta than I thought it was going to be, and a lot more dry.
For sure.
Like,
Yeah.
so that was maybe a little surprising.
So
But
This was my first exposure to Muppets. Like, I didn't realize until I researched it that there was a show before this.
yes,
But I don't know, having it be kind of like an origin story, I think helped. I didn't feel that lost.
Yeah, that's true.
But I liked, and this might just be because it was literally my first time learning about the characters, but I liked how they spent enough time with each character without dragging on the movie.
Yeah.
That's
You got
true.
to know,
Yeah.
you got to know each of them.
Everybody had a little introduction.
I wish we got more
for
Bunsen
first
and
exposure
Beaker.
to them.
Yeah.
I
A little bit of that Seven Samurai get the gang together kind of.
Exactly. It's that exact trope.
Yeah. Again, this movie also started with like the last one with the Hollywood agent kind of scouting out talent.
Oh,
What did
true.
we watch last?
Yeah. The baseball,
yeah.
League of Their Own.
League of Their Own.
Similar beats there, which was kind of interesting.
The villain of the movie.
Confirmed. League of Their Own was inspired by the Muppets.
What about the villain?
Just gonna say, he really wanted a frog to
Doc
sell
Hopper.
his
He
frog
was-
legs, and Kermit just stood by his morals. He was like, "I'm not gonna
Yeah.
sell your frog legs."
He was dressed like Colonel Sanders, right? Like he had the Colonel
Yeah,
Sanders
that had to be
bow
a
tie.
clear
Okay.
parody.
I was just
Also, are
checking.
frog legs that big of a food item?
That's why he needs a
No.
spokesperson
And
like
is-
Kermit.
No, they are not.
he needs a better spokesperson.
He needs
yeah.
to sell his chicken fried frog legs.
It just seems like it's not that much food. Like it'd be like eating a chicken wing.
That's why you get a bucket.
So you
you're
need a
like,
whole bucket.
That's what at least with chicken, you get the breast
Oh,
too.
God, when they're-
and that's like a lot more filling.
During one of the car chase scenes when they crash into that billboard with the pie and then the pie comes off and
it
becomes
was-
a giant real pie.
Yeah, it was an
Why is it
actual
was
pie.
Actual pie.
So
Yeah.
good. So
So
good.
absurdist.
I really
Yeah.
liked this. So, I mean, obviously, we're all watching this in or near our 30s with no children.
Yeah.
I would imagine that, like, as far as kids' entertainment goes, the Muppets probably pretty solid. Like, you probably aren't sitting there as a parent wanting to blow your brains out.
No,
I
there's
think
enough
because
jokes.
the humor's dry enough and not adult in subject, but it's like mature enough that like there's something for the adults and the kids through just the context of it being Muppets. So it's like accessible
Man,
on both ends.
Yeah.
I wish I would have wrote it down. There was one joke where I went, "That's for adults. That's for the parents watching.
Oh, there were a
Kids are never
couple,
going to pick up
man.
on that." Yeah,
There were a couple, but I don't remember either.
on it.
I don't have the freaking IMDb pulled up either. But anyway.
We'll never know.
The cameos, lots of cameos. Richard Pryor was a cameo.
Yeah,
which was
that was
crazy.
surprising. It's just a balloon salesman.
Richard.
Richard Pryor is
Oh,
like
Nick.
he's on the Mount Rushmore of comedy.
Yeah, he's a comedy legend.
He's a comics comic. All of the comics we listen to idolize and reference Richard Pryor all the time.
Yeah.
He's the dude that tried to self-immolate, right?
Hang on.
He's a dude that
Oh,
what?
this guy. Okay.
He lit himself on fire
Ooh.
at one point.
Richard Pryor.
I'm pretty sure. Maybe that wasn't
Maybe, I
him.
don't know
Maybe
that.
wasn't him. I don't remember. Anyway, yeah. So Richard Pryor was in it. Steve Martin was in it.
In some very tiny shorts.
Steve Martin had
Yeah,
I
that
was
was
there and I was like, "Whoa, those
Dude.
are shorts."
They never addressed the shorts, which is great.
Yeah.
So much funnier that way.
Dude, it was so good. I had a lot of fun. What? So
Yeah.
songs. Was everybody's favorite The Rainbow Connection or?
No.
Oh, of course not.
That was my clear choice. A close second was probably Moving Right Along, just because that was the
I put
main voice for the movie.
Yeah, I thought Moving Right Along because that's what I've had in my head for the last 3 days.
Really?
Moving Right Along. I don't
I've had
remember.
the Rainbow Connection in my head.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I don't remember
I-
any other words. But
But
My
that's like the
favorite
whole
was-
theme for the movie is
Moving
yeah.
right along.
Moving Right
Moving
Along.
right along.
What
My
was your
favorite was "I'm Going to Go Back There Someday,"
Why?
which is the song Gonzo sang when they were out at the campfire when the car
Busted
broke
when
down.
the car broke
That's
down.
a good one too.
Yeah. Because it was slow and sad, and he was just dreaming of being where he wanted to be, even though at the time he
Nick.
didn't think he was going to make it. Listen,
I'm
I'm
sensing
here
a
for the sappy
theme.
stuff in every movie, even the Muppets.
But you're gonna whiff The Rainbow Connection.
I'm not saying that wasn't good.
It's the
There
best.
wasn't a bad
It's
song.
the best song though. It's The Rainbow Connection.
It's probably my second.
Willie Nelson didn't.
The Gonzo
cover.
one's more of a deep cut though, which is
It is
kind
a
of cool.
deep cut, but Willie Nelson covered Rainbow Connection. It's the best.
I guess.
So, favorite Muppet though. So everybody here besides me was new to Muppets. You gotta have a favorite Muppet. What was your favorite Muppet?
Mine was, I think, Fozzie the Bear.
Fozzie.
Him and Kermit,
Ozzy
I
the Bear
thought.
was great.
Fozzie's
Him and
great.
Kermit
good
together was
duo.
a really great duo. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a completely unoriginal person, and I'm gonna go with Kermit. But
Yeah,
also,
he's the clear choice.
also Bunsen and Beaker, but they weren't
He's
really in
everyman.
this. They weren't in the movie a lot.
Yeah.
I really liked Camilla the chicken and her input. I don't know why.
Input.
I don't know why. There was a scene where she
You kept
very,
being like, "Is there always a chicken?" I'm like, "I think Gonzo's always got chickens, man."
she was just always there, and I was like, "Why is there just a chicken?" And there was one point where Gonzo like floats away, and she was like, "Cluck, cluck, 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 cluck." It was so concerned, the most concerned clucking, I don't know why, but I thought that was like the funniest thing. Just a chicken.
I don't remember her at all.
What?
What?
Gonzo had the chicken like the
She
whole
was there.
movie.
Yeah, the whole time she's hanging out.
Gonzo's the one that flew. Yeah. Gonzo sang my favorite song.
He's also like,
I noticed
I
he never
don't
looked to
remember
his
his
left or right.
I'm sure if I Googled it right now, I'd be like, oh, yeah, I know what
Oh
you're
yeah,
talking
the
about.
chicken. Also,
Oh, the chicken.
Sweetums, which is the big.
the big
I
guy
love that.
I don't
Oh,
know.
I never got his
Word up,
name.
guys.
with the
I'm
The
going
Candy
to
Factory from
Hollywood.
Parks and Rec.
what?
The who?
Sweetums.
Yeah.
If you can't beat him, Sweetums.
No, we
I
don't
wonder
like
if that's,
Sweetums.
My favorite part with
wonder if that's where that
that
came
guy,
from.
though, is when he came out of the tent and all the ladies were like, and he's like, I gotta go find those guys. And it's like, what? Wait, back up. What were you doing in there? Like, why? Don't change the subject.
That might have been one of the moments where I was like, parent moment. That's for the parents.
Yeah. Oh, man.
My notes say least favorite Muppet, which is impossible because all Muppets are.
No,
my
it's
favorite
not.
Muppet.
It's not impossible.
I've got a least favorite.
Impossible.
I'm pretty sure
I think we
the three
all
of us
might.
are-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, in unison here.
Yep. Miss
Miss Piggy.
She's the worst.
She was
She's
annoying.
unredeemable. Yeah. Clout chasing.
She's not irredeemable. She literally kicks
She leaves
people's.
him twice for the call of
She does.
her whatever.
Yeah, she's
Like, and just is like, oh,
she's
bye.
fickle, but she kicked ass. Literally, she's
She did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like for
that
her,
was-
it
Yeah,
was
but
awesome.
what did she do? What did she do right after that?
She got them in that situation though. She had to get them out.
You gotta
and then
know.
she gets a call from her agent and went, "Well, bye."
Bye.
yeah, and then
gotta-
she's like, "But don't I get a kiss?" She's
Are you kidding me?
manipulative.
You gotta
Yeah.
know more.
Kermit
You gotta,
deserves better.
you gotta know more Muppet lore.
I guess so.
You gotta
Well,
know
I
more
don't.
Muppet lore, and she's always kind of like that though.
Yeah, well, when they ran into
I just
her own
yeah,
side
she's
of the road,
just that
they should have left her.
entitled. Yeah.
Ooh.
No, but they were in love.
But they just.
Kermit doesn't
they
seem like he
just
loves her
met.
though. He just kind
Yeah.
of seems like he's like
He loves her
tolerating
though. He
it.
bought her wine. That was
Yeah.
gross.
Okay.
It was 95 cents. What do you expect? You know.
And then, dude, speaking of for the adults, so my favorite gag. There's so many good gags, but my favorite one was the Electric Mayhem fourth wall breaks where they're just
Oh,
like, it says
yeah.
here in the script, and
Yeah.
they keep
Dude.
referencing the script
You
for
can't
the
tell him the
whole.
whole script. Give him the.
How did you find it?
It's like
Give
imagine
him the screenplay.
The MacGuffin is the literal screenplay.
The movie itself is the MacGuffin.
How'd you know to
Yeah.
find us here? And he's like, well, it's right here in the
Genius.
script. So good, man.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Uh,
I really one of my favorite jokes was I mean there were so many drinks on the house when they were in the bar.
Yes.
I forgot about
Hey,
that one.
everyone, drinks are on the house, and then everyone just goes to the roof. Works
Yeah.
every time.
Fozzie's like works every.
The humor reminded me of SpongeBob a little bit, in that it was like
Alright.
just these zany
Ooh.
characters all kind of in collaboration, and like you have like the cynical Squidward, which is kind of like Fozzie to some degree, mixed with a little bit of Kermit. It was just like a lot of that kind of humor. I felt like was directly
also-
from the Muppets.
It's
yeah.
amazing to me that it exists in a world where nobody bats an eye that Muppets are a thing.
They're just
Right?
there
Yeah, they're
with
never
people.
addressed as
Yeah.
different than
Yeah.
other animal. Or yeah, they're just there. Yeah.
They're there and they're the main characters and they're taken seriously. It's awesome, except for by Steve Martin.
Yeah.
But even Steve was like, "Fine, here's your wine, and
Yeah.
then you have a phone call." That's my Steve Martin impression.
Insufferable
it's
waiter.
super good.
That's really good. I'm
God.
so good at
Oh,
impressions.
can I?
No, all
So
the
good.
puns in the beginning of the movie were amazing. Gone with the Schwinn.
Yeah, that was
was
great.
great.
That was a good one.
Oh, turn at the
The
fork in the road. And then there was an actual fork
Yeah, look at that. Yeah.
in the road.
What
Yeah,
was-
bear
Fozzie at one
left.
point, Fozzie was driving and
Frog
Kermit
right.
was in the passenger seat. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Kermit kept going, bear left, and then Fozzie just goes, Frog Right.
He's like, yeah, cute.
great.
So good.
So
Yeah, that was a
silly.
cute one.
Yeah. Oh, Kermit.
Man, what are the when Fozzie goes, a bear in his natural habitat, a Studebaker.
A Studebaker.
Yeah.
Classic.
When he walks in the church and sees Electric Mayhem and goes, these don't look like Presbyterians to me.
Yeah.
Dude, there's so many good lines.
There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of really good, like, snarky kind of humor.
Did you
It's like,
guys
I don't
notice
know how to
the,
thank you. I don't know why to thank you.
That one, yeah.
Kermit kind of reminds me a little bit of like Letterman in that way, like where it's very dry, sarcastic kind of humor.
I could see that.
Yeah,
a little
he's the only one that kind of realizes that things are a little ridiculous. Like he's a straight
Yeah,
man
he's
to a
the
level,
everyman. Yeah,
Right.
straight man. That's a better word. Yeah.
while being a Muppet. So it's like he still can't be a straight man because he's a freaking
He's a frog.
he's a Muppet. He's a frog puppet in a people world. But and I love the like where they have to keep like there's a part out when someone the owner of the bar gets thrown out of the bar. He's like, the owner should really do something about this. I'm the owner. But Kermit's like behind a comically large box because he has to be puppeted.
Yeah.
So they just have to find ways to put them on or behind stuff.
Yeah,
which
little vignettes.
I appreciate as like a creative workaround. Like we have to make this into the set kind of deal.
I didn't
But it
find
never
it
felt
distracting.
forced.
Yeah. No, it
Yeah,
always
the
made
staging
sense.
was all very,
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a
Clean.
good job.
Although Fozzie Bear was a full like Florida head puppet
So
on the stage, and that
I've-
looked a lot better than like when they did those full puppets in the Labyrinth.
I think I saw something somewhere, and I don't know if it's factual. I think it was just a quip in a review. But I haven't watched all of the Muppet Show. This movie takes place partway through the third season of the Muppets, for what that's
Okay.
worth. But it mentioned that this is like some of the first time we're seeing legs on Muppets, but I don't know if that's
Ooh.
true or not. Like as far as them walking, like they, you sit them on stuff and whatever. But
Yeah.
I don't know how true that is, or if he was,
Dancing on the stage.
yeah, or if he was using that as like a figure of speech or something.
Doing
I don't know.
karate
Yeah.
chops.
I don't know if it was happening now, but in Labyrinth, like the guy with the big face, the big head, and the big nose in Labyrinth, he was all controlled, like
Hoggle?
off screen. There's like people moving his feet and his hands,
Yeah.
like, without wires.
Well, it's like Yoda
off screen,
too, like in
which is crazy.
in Empire.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yoda, all of Dagobah is like built on a raised floor so that Frank Oz could be underneath the floor puppeting Yoda. So they have to do stuff like that.
Puppets are crazy.
Frank Oz
Frank
from
Oz.
this
Yep.
movie.
From this movie. So Frank Oz, it never stops being funny to me that Yoda and Miss Piggy are the same guy. That will always
he
be
does her
funny.
voice.
Yeah, he does her voice. That's Frank Oz.
That's hysterical.
So he also is Fozzie.
He was a yeah.
I thought he was Gonzo.
He's
or something,
Gonzo.
Maybe. He's like,
I think he's Fonzie.
there is no try.
Yeah, yeah. Like you can,
Wow.
I wonder how many times that happened behind the scenes. Yoda with Miss Piggy.
like just imagine like when Yoda in episode 2 like grabs his lightsaber and flies at Count Dooku, but it's a Miss Piggy. Hi-ya! Like on this. It'd be so good.
Someone needs to make that video.
That's just what I was doing in my head.
Where's
like,
that deep fake?
for the whole movie? Just thinking like, man, what if we
But what
swapped
if?
Miss Piggy into Star Wars?
As like one
like-
of those Pixar outtakes where they like digitally do all of them.
Yeah.
Those were the best.
Those were the best.
I love it.
Yeah, so Frank Oz, for real though. He's Yoda and he's many
Legend.
things. Man. Great movie. So favorite cameo. Mine is Big Bird.
Clear winner here.
Big Bird.
I loved Big
Yeah.
Bird. My 3 are Big Bird, Steve Martin, and of course Orson Welles was hysterical.
Same. Yeah.
Orson
Exactly
Welles
the
is so
same.
funny. Print me the standard wannabe famous contract or whatever he says. It's
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
funny.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not that easy. You can't just. He didn't
Yeah.
even audition.
Maybe
He
it is
had
for-
it. He had it.
It also reminded me how gay I am for Orson Welles' voice. Dude,
Yeah.
I could listen to his words forever. Just
He's
that
great.
transatlantic. Oh,
I don't like Orson Welles.
Ugh.
Get him out of here.
There's the door.
No.
Orson Welles is great.
Get out of here, Orson.
I want to watch more Orson Welles
He
movies.
made one of the best movies of all time.
Nope. False.
Maybe the best.
Citizen Kane,
False.
baby.
False.
5 out of 5.
Citizen Kane.
5 out of 5. No.
Some would say it was his Citizen Kane.
2.5 out of 5.
Yeah.
This what's the guy that made this movie? Why am I drawing a blank?
Jim Henson.
Jim Henson. This is his Citizen Kane.
Is it?
Maybe.
That also starred
I would think
Citizen
that
Kane.
like probably the greater Muppets as a whole would be his Citizen Kane.
The Muppets
Yeah,
as a
I
whole.
can't
Like
really
his
say that. This is the
contribution
only Muppet thing
to
I've seen.
his contribution to children's television, and puppeteering is probably like his mark on the world. Certainly,
It certainly wasn't Labyrinth.
no. No, it
I don't
was
know
not.
why the name Jim Henson just makes me think of like Jimi Hendrix. Even though those people are not the same.
I mean,
They're not the
the
same.
initials are the same.
They're very different, but like when I hear Jim Henson, I just think like
Is that how guitars sound? I don't know.
it
That's
is.
pretty good.
That was a good impression.
I want to sing "Excuse Me While I Kiss the Sky," but in a Kermit voice, but I don't think I can pull it off.
Excuse me.
Try it. Do it.
Yeah, Carl did it.
Oh God.
Was that offensive to you?
No, it's just like the worst thing I've ever heard. Jim Henson and Jimi
Oh, God.
Hendrix.
They're the same in my head.
Oh,
That's
man.
literally unbelievable.
I know they're not.
They both died at the top
yeah.
of
Doesn't
their game.
help.
Although Jimi Hendrix died from a drug overdose and drowned in his own vomit.
Oh, that's sad.
Oh, rip.
Poor Jimmy.
I don't really have anything else to talk about.
No? Should we do ratings?
Should we do rating? Let's do ratings.
All right.
Let's do ratings and move right
Yeah.
along. Maybe we have a shorter one. Who cares?
Moving right along.
Our fans will. All fans will love a shorter one.
Our
I kind of knew that this one would be shorter because it's a kids movie, but you know
It is a
what? I
kids
wanted to
movie.
watch the Muppet movie, and I had a delightful time. I'll start the
Yeah.
ratings. Whatever. I
ahead.
don't care.
Start us
I had a
off.
delightful time. I love Kermit. I will say that I think I have a closer emotional tie to some Sesame Street characters more so, like
That makes sense.
Ernie and Bert and Grover and Oscar the Grouch, etc. Like those are the puppets of my childhood. Like I didn't have as close of a tie to Miss Piggy and Gonzo and Statler and Waldorf and all those guys, but I still love them. I want to watch like a Jim Henson documentary. That was like my takeaway from this. I was like,
Yeah.
I want to know more about Jim Henson, but I don't want it to be like a bummer. I want it to be about his
Yeah.
like genius and not his like death and stuff.
Right.
But that being said, I don't know if I have a rating ready in my head. It's definitely above a 3. Definitely above a 3.
Above a 3?
Above a 3 for me.
Wow.
I'm gonna go because it's not like groundbreaking. It's not
No.
on the same level as a lot of the other movies. Maybe I'll go. It's really getting a Rainbow Connection bump. I'm gonna go 3.5. I think 3.5 is fair. I think it's above average. It's a good movie. All the songs were solid, like Nick said. Like they're
Yeah.
all good.
Yeah.
The lyrics of Rainbow Connection just make me they give me pause.
Make you ponder life.
So yeah, I guess 3.5, which kind of feels low. I kind of want to go 4, but like the plot is whatever, and
Yeah.
all of the magic is in the puppets and them saying funny stuff. So
Yeah.
3.5. It's above average movie for me. Would watch again, but not probably for a long time.
Yeah.
I had fun though. Good movie. It was
though.
enjoyable. Hour and a half.
Yeah.
Easy one.
Finally something that wasn't a million years long.
Yeah, and I got
Nice,
to listen
light,
to
refreshing. Yeah.
Yeah.
got to listen to Rainbow Connection twice. Huge W.
There you go.
Someone else go.
I'll go and really just say I second everything Cameron just said.
3.5 too.
For my,
No, go ahead.
I think yeah, I'll get there. Okay.
Oh, don't rush
I
him.
think for my
Sassy.
I think for my first introduction to the Muppets, it was a solid movie. I like getting the kind of backstory on them without having any other frame of reference. Getting to know each character. I love that Kermit, like you were talking about earlier, Cam, was kind of cynical and judging everyone kind of under his breath, I guess. but he also would like find the good in everything.
Yeah,
Which
he's
was
an
cool.
he's an optimist, but he's not like, I don't know how to describe it because he's not
It's like he's a
Yeah.
realist and an optimist.
right.
Or like a realist with optimistic tendencies.
Yeah, because he's very grounded and he's not pie in the sky optimism, but he's like,
Right.
It'll be okay.
like that's the feeling I
He's
get.
very zen.
Like that was stupid, but we're gonna be all right.
He's written, and I think
kind
the
of thing.
Muppets as a whole are written to where, like, you know, obviously with Sesame Street, it's definitely geared towards kids. You've got Cookie Monster, for God's sakes. And he goes, nom, 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 me want cookie. And that's the
Yeah.
that's the depth. that's the depth of Cookie Monster. You know, Elmo is Elmo. He teaches you how to have a fish or whatever.
How to spell.
and how to spell. La 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 la. Elmo's World. Ernie and Bert are great. But the Muppets though are written to where, like, adults as well can also identify with Muppets depending on
Yep.
the Muppet, but especially probably Kermit, first and foremost at a pretty legitimate level and
Yeah.
deepish level. Like, I see that much differently now as an adult, where I'm like, man, this frog's song is getting me, and this
Yeah,
frog's
even-
outlook is solid, and he's
Yeah,
bumming me
even
out
with the
also.
songs, the songs were so well written. I looked up a couple, like just looking up the lyrics, and they're legit, not kid songs. In fact, I might buy the soundtrack on vinyl.
Wow.
Just
Ooh.
ripping,
Because it's like
Little Muppets
20
vinyl.
bucks.
ripping the Muppets.
I can
going
get
to
it in
work.
Kermit Green.
It's not easy being green.
I thought that song was gonna
Yeah,
be
no, I really liked it. It was funny. I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna go 3.
3. I think 3 is fair and real. What about you?
Yep.
What about you, Broad? What do you think?
I agree with everything y'all said, but I also wasn't that excited about it, or that, like, I did not like it, but I also wasn't like, wow, this is amazing. So I feel like I can't go less than a 3
I mean, it's got cultural significance.
because it has
which is
cultural
important.
significance, and like y'all are
Yeah,
saying,
but
the
is that what your
songs.
score's about?
The songs are really good, but it's a
Ooh,
kids
that's
movie.
True.
So, like, do you give it
Mm.
negative points for being a kids movie? Because it's really simple.
I feel like I can't. Like, I
kinda
didn't
funny.
enjoy this as much as I have some of my other 3s.
Yeah.
So I think I want to go 2.5.
Well, you are a cold, heartless.
Hey,
You might as well be Miss Piggy
2.5
just leaving
is-
us here.
2.5 is
is
close
right in the
to
middle.
average. Yeah.
That's
That's
a
what Carl-
failing grade.
Carl told me last week. It's
So
right
is
in
a,
the middle.
So is a 3.5.
Right in the middle.
Well, anyway, Carl, do you have a heart?
Well, if we know anything about me, it's that I'm a cold-hearted.
I mean, I might have too much of a heart. I mean, I enjoyed it. I mean,
it's like
I think
5
it had. Yeah, 5 stars. This is the best one I've ever seen. No, I think
Imagine.
it did a really good job of being both accessible for kids and adults alike. I think all the cameos were definitely for the adults. Like no kid knows who Orson Welles is. You know, no kid knows
No.
Richard Pryor.
Richard Pryor? Yeah.
So all those, I think all of the cameos were for the adults, which is cool. And I think the story, you know, the trying to live your dream is, you know, kind of something that everybody can identify with. So that's fun.
And
the humor is great.
They succeed, but also he fails kind of at the end too. Like,
Yeah,
like they get
kinda.
to Hollywood, Kermit gets his big set, and then it all comes crashing down. But he's still kind of like, I had fun. Like it's
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I think everybody's kind of already touched on it. The Muppets are fun. They did a lot of really creative work and to like put them into a movie in a believable way where we're like, oh, these are obviously puppets. The music was great. I think I'm going to give it a 4.
nice.
Nice.
Yeah, because I think
Nice.
you know this is a classic.
Damn,
like
I
I
should've
think
given it a
the
4.
music from it, everything else is pretty iconic. So I think 4 feels pretty
I
right.
feel like I have to say 3.
It's
I'm
a
gonna
certified
say
street
3.
classic. the Muppets.
Certified hood classic.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna go
hood-
back to a 3, not a 2.5.
It's a good movie, but it's like
It's a good movie.
you got.
I mean, there's depth if you look for it, but it's not. It's also very goofy. Like the frog leg
Yeah.
guy chasing him, and he's got like the whole posse of people trying to get a frog. It's like what?
There's just
but there's
so
a lot
much
of like
in there for the
the messages of
parents.
friendship are more important than fame. And if you have it all and you have nobody to share it with, what's the point? So, like,
It's so good.
Does a
I
good job
could
of towing that line.
I could stay in my swamp and be comfortable,
Yeah.
or I could go out and make millions of people happy.
I like that was his driving thing. Was like, I guess I
Yeah.
could make people happy.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, which I kind of
Yeah,
felt
because
was
at
kind
first he kind of phrases it like you could be rich and famous, and I was like, so they're all just going for rich and fame, but he like kind of sells it with the make millions of people happy. Okay, like,
But
it's all right.
what I kind of didn't appreciate about that angle on a level though was like he felt like he had to make the decision to go because if he didn't, he would be depriving millions of people from something, which I thought
From
was
himself.
which I
Yeah.
thought I'm like this
a little
is
egomaniacal.
So maybe
little narcissist.
Kermit is
Yeah.
actually the villain.
it's. I don't think he's a hero.
Kermit's pretty complex.
I
when
think,
you think about it.
and it just speaks to the writing. I think like he's a
Yeah.
complicated character.
That's the layering. Yeah,
It's
the
not easy
nuance
being
there.
green, as he says.
No, it's not.
He didn't say that in this movie though, did
No.
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 That's, but
What
that's-
movie is that? Is that the newer one?
I think
I
it's
thought
the
that was a
show itself,
he?
Oh,
It's a
maybe.
song, right?
but it's a song. Yeah.
I will say I was really bummed because I saw a clip on like TikTok or something, and they were talking about Kermit time traveling, and I thought it was
What?
going to be in this movie, but then I realized it was like the Christmas Carol.
Muppets Christmas
That's
Carol.
a really
Their point
Crafty
was
way to
that
phrase time traveling.
when good Kermit goes to the future, like past 2001, the Twin Towers are still there. So somehow Kermit causes 9/11. Like, it was this whole conspiracy. I was so excited to watch it, and it didn't happen. in
There's
this
a
movie.
butterfly effect there
So
somewhere.
Is Kermit the Scrooge character in A Christmas Carol?
I guess so.
I guess so.
I have no idea. I'm
Jet fuel
assuming.
can't burn steel beams.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, Kermit, calm down. It's like, oh boy.
Yeah, it's got. I don't know. It's kind of got a Charlie Brownness to it. Does that scan
Yeah.
the Muppets? Nick has
Kind of
no
like
idea.
in the satirical way, or like
Never
kind of in
seen
the
it.
commentary of
I mean,
society
in the,
sort of fashion.
kind of in a commentary way, but also like Charlie Brown has a grounded and yet bummed out like existentialism to him.
yeah,
and Kermit-
I was gonna say nihilist, but that's not the right
Kermit
word.
kind of has that to a degree, but not. He's more optimistic. He pushes more optimism than Charlie.
He
Brown
chooses
does.
optimism.
He's
Yeah.
not oh bother. He's keep going kind of deal.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like kid stuff that scans for adults like Charlie Brown does and like this. So I don't know. I appreciated it. 3.5 stars though. I'm gonna stick with. I'm not gonna go as high as 4. I don't think, as much as that pains me. And I've been singing Rainbow Connection for 24 hours and won't stop anytime.
I've been
soon.
singing it in the voice too.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
like
yeah.
The
Well,
only
you
way
have
you can do it. Yeah.
So the Willie Nelson version is like it definitely feels not right, and it's because the lyrics are written again for Kermit's speech pattern.
Yeah.
So and Willie Nelson just sings everything kind of. He drags behind the beat and then catches up. He's funny, but he's also an American hero. So
Yeah.
smoke weed and don't pay taxes. Let's pick a movie.
Movie.
Put it on a shirt.
Well,
Yeah.
Willie probably has.
We've had 2 like kind of upper movies, so
It's time for The Godfather.
oh god.
Oh boy.
I have
Truman
a
Show.
ticket, and it says, "I don't know what this is," and that immediately makes me not want to watch it.
Oh,
if
no.
I'm being honest, it's The Third Man.
The third man.
The hell is
I
that?
don't know what
Google
that
it.
is either.
Look it up.
This might be a David
The
request.
Third Man.
Man, I thought
this
everything
Coen
I
Brothers?
thought we had all bangers.
Oh no 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 no!
Are we back in?
No 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 no. We're back in.
We're back in.
It's an Orson
Tell us,
Welles.
tell us.
Yes.
Ah!
It's an it's a Norse. It's an Orson
A Orson Welles?
noir.
Ooh.
I'm so excited to watch a noir. I'm in.
Each movie
gonna
has
be great. This is
something
gonna be
in
great.
common with the previous movie. That's so crazy. 1 degree of Kevin Bacon
wonder
in
if we
this
could-
case.
Yeah, could we make that connection?
It
Connect every
it
movie
was
we've
not
watched.
directed by Orson Welles, but he did the screenplay. It was written by Carol Reed, screenplay by Orson Welles, Carol Reed, and Graham Greene, story by Graham Greene and Alexander Cordra. All these people I don't know. Set in post-war Vienna, Austria, The Third Man stars Joseph Cotton as Holly Martins. Joseph as Holly, okay. Writer of pulp westerns, who arrives penniless as a guest of his childhood chum Harry Lime, Orson Welles, only to find him dead. Well, Christ, he's going to be dead immediately.
Jeez.
This is like when I went to see Les Mis
Maybe
for
we'll
Anne
get
Hathaway,
flashbacks.
and then Anne Hathaway dies immediately.
Martin develops a... Yeah, that movie is such a piece of shit.
It's pretty bad.
Martin develops a conspiracy theory after learning of a, quote, third man present at the time of Harry's death, running into interference from British officer Major Calloway, and falling head over heels for Harry's grief-stricken lover, Anna.
That sounds depressing.
So it was released in February 1st of 1949.
God.
How
long is
Wow.
It's probably a million. It's a noir, so I wouldn't get our hopes up for no, hour and a half. Hour and a half.
Not,
I'm in.
all right.
I'm back in.
Not Orson Welles directed, right?
Yeah, uncharacteristically short for a movie back then.
And he was in it. Although if he's in it, even though he's dead, I would kind of imagine. I mean, maybe he'll only be in it for 5 minutes. I don't know.
Or maybe there'll be flashbacks. We don't
Maybe
know.
there'll be flashbacks. I'd imagine there would be flashbacks.
I'm hoping so.
If there was a third man
Nice.
present, you know,
We got to learn who the third
we
man
gotta learn who
is.
that is. So
Yeah.
If we don't, I'm going to hate it.
I'm really hoping that it is like it is a noir in the essence of like, you know, this stereotypical noir.
yeah, I
we've
really
gotten.
want that. Typical.
So there I was on the night of
Yeah.
the, you know, just
Yeah,
dark
yeah.
and rainy and trench coat and stuff and cigarette drags and diners. And that's
the
what I want.
monologues. Yeah.
Right. Voiceover.
The
monologue.
existential nihilism. That's what I really. Yeah, Kermit, but dial it up to the negative
Yeah.
side.
Black and white, but aggressively.
I could tell by the way she was looking that she had more information, but
Yeah.
I couldn't.
Who is this Piggy? Who made her a miss?
Yeah. A myth. myth.
Yes.
So many running gags.
That's good.
All right. Well, we get another Orson Welles movie. It'll be our third one if we count the Muppets movie.
You do. He was in it.
He was in it. So
Yeah,
it's an
he's
Orson
like the man
Welles
behind
movie.
the curtain.
Yeah. Who was the man behind the curtain in The Wizard of Oz?
The
Actor was-
wizard?
No spoilers.
Well, no. I mean the actor. The
Oh.
actor.
Oh.
Who cares? He's dead.
No
Nick,
spoilers for The Wizard of Oz.
he hasn't seen it. Is that the one we were talking about the other night, Nick, that you hadn't seen?
Yep.
Hasn't seen The Wizard of Oz. But you had seen Mary Poppins.
Nope. That was also one we were talking about the other night.
That's
that was
the one that really blows
that was
my
the
mind.
Mary Poppins is so good.
In fact,
dude.
when you say Mary Poppins, I picture
Have you seen Nanny McPhee?
John Krasinski's wife, the new Mary Poppins. That's what comes to mind.
No.
No.
Have you seen Nanny McPhee?
Nanny McPhee? No.
All right, I was gonna.
I know
say
of it.
Nanny McPhee's like a crappier.
Is that
Mary
basically
Poppins.
Mary Poppins?
True.
Yeah.
Worse.
Yeah.
It's a worse
It's
Mary
worse.
Poppins.
She
It's
was
like-
maybe
it's
a
like,
bad
what if
person,
what
like
if-
the actress?
What if instead of being like beautiful and graceful, like Nanny McPhee's just like a troll lady who's nice,
Yeah, but as the kids obey,
great
then her
personality.
words disappear.
which is such a weird form of
That's-
gaslighting that I
don't
just
want that.
hate.
Yeah, every time the kids learn a lesson, it's like, oh, now my buck teeth are gone.
Yeah, you watch
now
like
I don't
her,
have a unibrow.
her hairy mole like recedes, and you're she's beautiful now. It's such bullshit.
But then she has to leave and
Oh.
immediately go be ugly again.
Yeah, what is
With
Yeah,
a new
that's
group of
there.
kids.
Huh.
that's a
Interesting.
bad movie.
When I
You know
was
what wasn't bad?
turning 11. Oh. Who goes first?
What
You-
wasn't bad?
Danielle.
What was
Danielle
bad?
has ruined my segue.
What wasn't bad?
The Beatles. The Beatles.
Oh God,
This
the
week.
Beatles.
Oh,
I had a
The
Nanny
Beatles
McPhee
this
story.
week.
No, let's
Sorry, go
let's
ahead.
pause
I wanna
there.
hear
No,
it.
do your
No,
Nanny
go
McPhee
ahead.
story. You
Do
can't
it.
comment about it.
Do
Not
it
do
for
it.
the
You gotta do
listeners.
the Nanny
My
McPhee story.
parents made us go see Nanny McPhee in the movie theater because I wasn't allowed to see the Steve Martin Pink Panther because they thought it was too secular back in the day. so instead
Too
we
secular.
had to go
Nanny
see-
McPhee wasn't though.
No.
It was about being better as
It's
a
about
kid.
being a better kid.
And the Pink Panther's about Steve Martin not saying hamburger correctly.
Hamburger!
That movie's.
Too spicy.
I remember that movie being really funny, and I bet it's not.
I bet it's probably not.
All right, the Beatles
it's probably
though.
not.
Were we on Help this
The
week?
Beatles.
Help!
This week we're on Help from 1965. And this is my new favorite Beatles album.
Of course.
Yeah, that's going to
By
be a running
a long
theme.
shot.
That's going to be a running theme because you're getting into their
Just
heyday.
every week.
Yeah. Not every week, but yeah, like if you get to Abbey Road and Abbey Road's not your favorite, like it probably will be in a couple years, you know? Like the more you get on, the easier they are to love.
That's fair. My least favorite song though on this album was "I Need You," which is the one I messaged Cameron. I was like, "What is this awful instrument at the beginning of the song and throughout the entire song?"
Would you like to know what the instrument was, ladies and gentlemen?
Was it an electric guitar?
Yes.
Well, they played it very poorly.
That's not true.
I don't know what they did.
They're doing volume swells. So he's starting with his like guitar volume off. He's hitting a chord and swelling the volume in really quickly and then out again. So it's like, but it's very tinny sounding and.
I thought it was like accordion or something.
Nope.
Like that's what it reminded me.
That's
of.
not what it sounds like to me, at least.
I will skip that song every time. I really hated how it started. But the rest of the album is freaking perfect. The best song to drive to is, of course, Help.
Of course.
Because you can't help to sing that song to the top of your lungs.
No.
And my favorite, I think this is not a hot take and might be everyone's favorite off this album, is Yesterday.
Yeah.
I didn't realize Yesterday was
Such
on
a good
Help.
song. Yeah.
Yeah, so the track listing is Help, The Night Before, You've Got to Hide Your Love Away, which is also a banger. I Need You, Another Girl, You're Going to Lose That Girl, Ticket to Ride, again, amazing song.
Ticket to Ride's good.
Yeah.
Act Naturally, It's Only Love, You Like Me Too Much, Tell Me What You See, I've Just Seen a Face Yesterday, and Dizzy Miss Lizzy. So, and again, some of these are covers. But...
You're Gonna Lose That Girl is also really good.
Yep, that one's good.
I like the savageness of I'm gonna take her if you don't do something.
Ooh.
It's such a good album. You've Got to Hide
Great
Your Love
album.
Away is very good. Help is good. But
What
no,
is,
I mean, Yesterday, man. McCarthy
Yeah.
was punching so far above his weight with
McCarthy?
Yesterday. McCartney,
Dude.
sorry.
I looked up because I wanted to know where that song came from or what it was about, and I have it pulled up here. It says, as Paul testified many times over, he wrote the song in his sleep. He says, I woke up with a lovely tune in my head, and I thought, that's great. I wonder what that is. And there was an upright piano next to me, and he went and he just wrote the song.
Must be nice.
Coming out of a sleep.
It's really crazy and unfair that the Beatles had two of the greatest both singers and songwriters in the same freaking band at the same time.
Yeah.
It's insane. And it's why they're massive. Or still, like, you know, McCartney and Lennon both had solo careers after the Beatles, and like, yeah, we remember Wings, you know, we remember the terrible crap that Lennon did with Yoko, but like,
Imagine.
the Beatles are forever.
Imagine was post Beatles, right? That was a Lennon song. Imagine all the people.
I think so.
but I don't know.
I think so. Yes,
Ooh.
yes. 1971. Yep. Yeah, no, it's a good. So, fun fact about the album cover: it's the Beatles holding their arms in various ways. And they
I
were
read about
originally going to spell the word "help" in flag semaphore, so which is like flag. You have flags in your hands and you put your arms in different positions and it's different letters, but spelling the word "help" didn't look interesting enough. So instead, they are in the letters NVUJ because it just looked better.
As you do.
And that's my favorite. There's a lot of, from this middle era of the Beatles, there's a lot of album art lore, which is very good. So you should look it up. There's some very famous photographers that got famous because they did Beatles album covers. So
That's cool.
Next up is Rubber Soul.
which is my
Your
favorite question mark
Ooh.
Beatles album. I feel like I might only like, it's my favorite one that's not, you know, Abbey Road or Sgt. Pepper. Like, obviously those are incredible and they're better than Rubber Soul, but like I kind of feel like Rubber Soul's underrated. It's a very good album. We're gonna watch. When are we gonna watch? The Third Man.
The Third Man.
The Third Man. You're so hype.
I'm so hyped. Yay! I'm ready to hate it.
Oh my gosh.
Prove me wrong, Orson Welles.
Orson Welles died, so you got that going for you.
Thank God.
Oh boy. All right. Well, everybody go watch The Third Man. Watch The Muppets on Disney Plus if you want to, and we'll catch you in the next one.
All right.